So for those that don't know, or those that have been following me for a while, you would know that I have a son. His name was Anthony. Um, he was born in 95. He was born in November of 95. 1995, gosh, I went to prison in 1998. So, I was young. I was 15. I think he was conceived when I was 16. Um, the first time I got to see my son was on his first birthday. And I've told this story before, but I was in a drug program. I went into a drug program in an attempt to clean my life up because I wanted to be a better father, like I didn't have. And while I was in the drug rehab, my son's first birthday came about and I wanted to see him. So I asked for a special pass, for me to go see him for his birthday. And they wouldn't allow it because it was on a weekday. So, of course, I wasn't going to miss my son's birthday. And my grandmother wasn't going to let that happen either. So the day of his birthday, um, I AWOL'd from the drug rehab. 6 o'clock in the morning, Nan was out there in her little red Nissan pickup truck with her hatchback thing, her camper shell. And here I come bailing out the fucking program, jump the fence, jump in her truck, and I go and see Anthony for the first time. Got to hold my son for the very first time. And words can't express what that meant to me. Went back to the rehab that day. They tested me. I was clean. That wasn't the reason for leaving. They punished me for a couple weeks and I got my privileges back. But I got to see my son. So I got out of the drug rehab and I got my first job ever at Carl's Jr. Now, remind you, I'm not even 18 yet. Got my first bank account. My grandma helped me set my Wells Fargo account up. And I started sending his mom checks. And it wasn't a lot, $100 here, $100 there, but I was trying to do something, right? I was trying to make an effort. Remind you, I'm only 17. So I noticed they weren't getting cashed. So I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, I get it. You're angry, you're upset, but I'm trying to help here." And her words exactly were, "I don't want you to ever have any rights to your son. So I'm not going to accept any money from you, nor will you be put on his birth certificate." Those words crushed me. And instead of doing what an adult should have done, is buckle down and get a lawyer and do the right thing, because I was filled with anger and just confusion and pain and trauma from my childhood and my past. What did I do? I went and stuck a needle in my arm. I went and got loaded. And then ended up going to prison for the first time when I turned 18 for burglary and grand theft auto. I got out, attempted to make another try at being around, and it didn't work out. And less than 60 days, I was back in jail and went to prison for 13 years. During that time, I wrote, I sent pictures, portraits, gifts, every Thanksgiving, Christmas, his birthday. I sent cards, letters, not knowing if he received them or not, but I definitely sent them because that's what I needed to do. I tried to get them to bring him to see me or to allow my grandmother to bring him up, but they didn't want him to be subjected to that environment. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. So through the 13 years that I was incarcerated, I did my best to stay in contact with my son. obviously it didn't fare too well. You know, she ended up getting married and had some children with her husband that she's with now. And you know, they lived their life, and you know, me having a relationship with Anthony really wasn't a concern for them. So I got out and of course immediately got in contact with my son. At this time he's 15, 16 years old, and the love that he had in his heart for me meant so much, and his forgiveness of my shortcomings meant so much. And when we were in California, he'd come out there to Silver Lake where we lived all the time, and he loved LA. He loved LA. He was from Ventura County, but he loved LA. He loved Hollywood. He loved to run around and just he loved to be out and about. That was his. He was a nomad. He was a roaming nomad. It was just in his nature. You know, he got a girlfriend, and the relationship got very serious, you know, and she ended up going out of the country for college. And when that happened, it really fucked my son up, really hurt him. And he probably felt abandoned and betrayed, and was probably feeling all those emotions that, you know, teenagers go through, especially when they've already dealt with issues with their father and so forth, right? And it was after that he'd shortly turned 18, and he just took off. He started hitchhiking up north to Frisco and Marin County, and he started hanging around with these death head groups, you know, these you know, Grateful Dead groups. He started doing a lot of psychedelics. He would go without reaching out or responding to anybody for months and months, sometimes a year at times. And then he finally got picked up. They didn't know really what to do with him because he's not a criminal, but he was obviously dealing with some mental issues behind the drugs that he was doing. And I tried everything in my power, man, everything in my power, between reaching out to him on Facebook, trying to get a hold of him. I even had a cop that reached out to me because he knew what encampment he was staying at, and sometimes he would see Anthony. So I gave him my telephone number and I said, "Hey, if you're ever over there patrolling that area again and you see him, please, man, see if he'll call me." And he did. My son didn't want to change. He didn't want to clean up. He wanted to do what he was doing. And there was nothing I could say or do about it. So then finally he ended up getting picked up for the last time, and they put him in a state hospital. And when that happened, they got their claws in him. And he was in those state facilities for 6 years. 6 years. The entire time I was, you know, talking to him on the phone, texting him, having conversation with him, building a relationship with my son. But the whole time they had him drugged up on all these psychedelic, not psychedelic, antipsychotic medications and antidepressants. And I believe that because they didn't deal with it short term, a drug psychosis short term, they dealt with it like a long term situation. They made my son worse. I believe that in my heart. So he ended up getting dropped down to a lower facility, like, you know, where he could have more, you know, time to get out on the weekends with family and stuff, and a little more freedom. That concerned me. That concerned me because I know his pattern. But he got transferred there, and sure enough, he left. We filed missing persons reports on him, and he was gone. His phone was gone. We couldn't get in contact with him. And then on Mother's Day of last year, just passed, I was sitting in the Jeep, and Leslie was inside the pet store, and I got a call from his stepdad. And usually when the phone rang and it was his stepfather, it was not good news. And it was something about that day when that phone rang that I just knew. Reluctantly, I picked up the phone and he proceeded to tell me what happened to my son. I don't remember a lot. Leslie kind of told me, but she came out of the pet store and I was just walking in circles in the parking lot. I'm not going to say holding what, but let's just say I didn't care anymore. I didn't care. At that very moment, I didn't care. I didn't care what happened. I didn't care what happened to who. And I was praying in my heart somebody would just do something foolish just for 1 second to give me a reason. All the anger and the hate and the frustration and everything just boiled up into me at one time. And all I could think about was what my son endured. And honestly, I just wanted to inflict it upon somebody else deserving. And the reason I make this video is not for clout. You know, there's people that are putting videos on the internet of my son and my hardships in life and his death and talking about I'm grifting. And no, I'm mourning the loss of my fucking son. And I pray to God that nobody has to ever endure that type of pain. I pray to God that those people, those evil, fucking disgusting people that continue to put these videos out, I pray that your children never have to face what mine did. And I pray that you never have to live with that. As much as I despise you people that do it, as much as I just look at you like you're the shit on the bottom of my shoe, I still wouldn't wish that pain upon you. And I hope you know that. So, a Somalian man, an adult, followed my son on Mother's Day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight on Mother's Day. Between surveillance cameras and ring cameras, he followed my son for over a mile, cold trailing him. And finally, he made his move when my son was by a commercial building area where there were some dirt lots. And this man beat my son and ultimately strangled him to death for a whole 10 fucking minutes. And nobody came to help him. Nobody gave a shit. You're going to tell me at that time in the afternoon on Mother's Day, nobody saw what was happening to my child? My son was a very loving person. He was a very peaceful young man. He would have been 30 on November 14th of last year, shortly after he was murdered. He was much different than me. His heart was much different. He was slower to anger. He was slower to hurt. He was a good young man. And you know, there's nothing that anybody can post or say that's ever going to make me feel any worse about me being absent in my son's life the mistakes that I made. There's nothing that any of you motherfuckers can do or say that's gonna make me feel any different than I already do myself. All it does is make you fucking idiots look like the trash you are. But I put this video out there because I want people to hear it. I want people to know. I want people to learn from my faults, my mistakes, my shortcomings, so they can become a better parent. And I also want to reach out to those who have lost a child, because it's not like a loss like anybody else has ever experienced unless you've experienced yourself. And I know we have our sister Wanda and other people in this group that have lost children at the hands of monsters. And we deserve to be able to talk about it. And my son's memory deserves to be lived on. And it don't matter what anybody says or does. That's the bottom line. I don't have a lot of friends in real life here in Florida. I don't conversate with many people in my life like around me. I utilize YouTube a lot for healing, to get my story out there, and to share what's going on inside my mind and my heart, in hopes that maybe somebody could take something from it. You know, my son had a closed casket. That's how bad this monster beat my son. And he's incarcerated. And karma has a way with dealing with people, believe that. And one day, he's going to hit that California Department of Corrections system. And to anybody that's experienced this type of loss, I just want you to know I understand. I understand the pain. I understand the guilt. I understand the frustration. I understand the anger and the hate that begins to build in your heart. And I don't just do this for me, I do it for him. You know, people made comments about me taking all the no, I took all the drama down. I took all the politics down. I took all the shit that don't matter down. I took all the crap that is not important down. And I remembered why I made this channel, the whole purpose behind the beginning of it, where it used to be, what it was about, the good times that we shared and we had before all this fucking insanity came about this genre. And I decided, for my son's honor and my grandmother's honor and my legacy that I leave behind, I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to tell my story, whether you like it or not. That's it. That's what I did. And I'm going to continue forth with it. And this channel is going to continue to grow and be prosperous. And we're going to reach people. And we're going to get a message out there that matters. I'm not going to be talking about no jumper, Adam 16, none of that crap. Nah, none of that. What does that matter in life? Like, seriously, what does any of that matter? Losing my son gave me a whole new perspective on life. What does that matter? And anybody that goes on that show, you're going on a show with somebody that has bragged about their encounters with children. Like, even if he offered me to go on No Jumper tomorrow, I'd tell him to go get fucked. So I'm just saying, like, like, stop the cap, man. I'm not talking about no nonsense on this channel, nothing that has no meaning. We're gonna change minds and hearts. And as our brother Josh said, we're gonna move in excellence. May he rest in eternal peace, but we're gonna move in excellence. And if you don't like change, if you don't like positivity, if you don't want to see growth, then I don't know what to tell you. Stay stuck in the mud and stagnant. But we're moving on over here. And I'm not grifting anything about my son. I'm sharing the story because it needs to be heard. And those that have lost children deserve to know that there's people out there that know exactly what they're going through. And let me say this. Did some people help me when he was murdered? Did some people bless me so I could get a rental and get a return flight and all that? Yeah, of course. But it stopped there. You act like I'm still asking for fucking money or something. This happened in May. He was buried Memorial Day weekend. Like, don't you have anything better to do in life? Like, seriously. Like, go hug your kid. Go do that. And I pray that nothing ever happens to them. And I pray that you never have to feel the pain that I feel and that others feel. But that's it. That's all I got to say on it. I just wanted to touch base and really just put the facts out there so everybody could understand what happened to my son, one, and two, why I've spoke about it. And thank you to all those that helped me during that time of need. You guys helped me in a time when, not everybody has a fucking $1,000 laying around. I'm sorry. I don't have it like that. I live check to check. I paid $3,000 alone just in rent. So, excuse me. But I do thank everybody that helped. And you all know who you are. And I love you all. And I'm not ashamed to say that I had to ask for help. It was the last thing I wanted to do. And I would have got out there no matter what. But I wanted to get out there and make sure I was able to focus on what needed to be focused on. And that was my son. And laying him to rest. And I appreciate everybody that came to my assistance. So I didn't have to stress on anything else but being there and laying my son to rest. And that's just a testament to what an awesome community we have here. That's just a testament to the amazing people that we have. That's just a testament to the good-hearted fucking people. And they see real. They recognize real. I don't have to say, I'm not explaining this to them. They already know. I'm explaining this to anybody that hasn't been around for a while or anybody that's new that may come across some of these weirdos videos. So you know the facts for what they are. And not some creep chopping up weirdos about somebody's deceased son and their hardships in life. Like, who does that? Somebody that's probably very miserable in their own life and just don't know what to do with themselves, more than likely. But I digress, man. Much love and respect to all of you guys, man. And as always, I bring this live to you with nothing but the utmost love and respect. I hope it finds you residing within the highest of spirits and doing nothing but good and blessed on this Sunday morning.